Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome. I am just another Pokedad, and if you know where I stole my intro from, you are my kind of geek, and I say geek lovingly. Today we are on the eve of the release of Burning Shadows, so I'm going to profile another deck made from some of the new cards coming out of Burning Shadows, specifically a deck built around Marshadow GX. This is Marsh Madness? No, this is Marsh Box. This is a Marsh Box deck that I've been playing around with and is doing fairly well. I'm not 100% sold on it, but I think it shows the versatility. I mean, Marshadow is sort of the Swiss Army knife of Pokemon. So Marshadow GX, new in Burning Shadows, I only have Japanese, sorry, but his first ability is Shadow Hunt. This Pokemon can use the attack of any basic Pokemon in your discard pile. You need the necessary energy to use this attack. So any basic Pokemons in your discard, Marshadow can become. It's a great attack, and that's going to be the basis of this entire deck. His first attack is for 2 fighting energy and 1 colorless, does 120 damage. His GX attack, Peerless 100 blows. This attack does 50 damage times the amount of basic energy attached. Pretty much you're not going to use that in this deck because we don't run a lot of basic energy. But Marshadow, we're going to run 3 copies. I only have 2 at the moment, but sorry. But 3 copies of Marshadow. That's the shoulder of this deck here. Then we're going to run 3 copies of Tapu Lele. In this deck, what you want to do is you use Tapu Lele to get Sycamore. You're going to want to cycle cards into your discard. All other Pokemon, other than these 2, basically never get on your bench. They only go to your discard pile. So Lele and Marshadow should be the only Pokemon that you ever put down on your bench. Running 3 copies of Lele. Now, for all the basic Pokemon that are going to end up in the discard pile, we're going to run Dragonite EX. This is out of Evolutions. Hyper Beam. It's 4 energy, but 4 colorless energy, and most of these attacks that you're going to want to emulate are going to need colorless energy. But Hyper Beam, discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. Does 130 damage, and you get to discard an energy. That's a nice attack. That's a good one to emulate. It is one of the higher cost cards for attacks in this deck. Necrozma GX, new in Burning Shadows. I'm not sold on this being in this deck because the only attack you can use is the GX attack, which is Black Ray GX. This attack does 100 damage to all your opponent's GX and EX, and it isn't affected by weakness or resistance for 3 colorless. That can be nice. I'm not 100% sure that belongs in this deck. The other attack you can't use because we're not running Psychic Energy, so it's sort of only a one-use attack, and I'm not sure that works very well, but we're leaving it in for now. Tauros GX, Rage, 2 colorless, 20 damage times the number of damage counters on it. You know, that's a nice attack. Mad Bull GX is a great, do 30 for each damage counter on it. Those are solid attacks in this deck. So you're running 2 copies of Tauros. Drampa GX, Righteous Edge, discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon for 1. That's a nice one. Berserk for 3 colorless, 80. Plus, if you have any damage on anybody on your bench, you do an additional 70, so that's 150. Everybody's playing Drampa. This is a solid attack. The nice thing about this is Drampaw's weak to fighting. Marshadow's fighting. So against a Drampaw deck, you are crushing Drampaw with Marshadow. So that's a nice one. Big Wheel GX in a pinch. You're almost certain to get end the turn after you do Big Wheel, but it's there if you need it. Jolteon EX, we're going to do the toolbox effect. Flash Ray, so you can does 70 damage, and you prevent damage from basic Pokemon. So if you're fighting against another basic deck, use Jolteon's attack. Glaceon, if you're fighting against a evolution deck, use Crystal Ray, and you'll do 70 damage and prevent all damage done to you by attacks from evolution Pokemon. Then the last one that I like, I'm running 2 copies, and again, I don't have a second one yet, is Clefairy from Evolutions. First attack for 1 is flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. That's not bad. But the second attack for 3 colorless Metronome, choose one of your opponent's one of your opponent's active Pokemon attack and use it as your attack. So now you've turned Marshadow into Zoroark Break. Yes, it takes 3 colorless, but that's pretty much what you want to get onto. You want to get 3 energy onto your Marshadow for 3 or 4 anyway, for everything. So we run double colorless, obviously, and I really like Clefairy in this deck. I think it helps a lot to just turn the tables. Was playing against a Vikavolt Tapu Bulu deck, and you just turn the tables on Tapu Bulu and knock Tapu Bulu out with it. Yes, you have to discard energy, but again, you're not running a lot of. You only need to get 3 onto your Marshadow, and you're not putting energy on anything else. Only Marshadow's getting energy, so we run enough to keep putting energy on. So that's your Pokemon lineup. I'm going to go to our supporters. We're going to run 4 copies of Sycamore. That's really important because you have to get your Pokemon into your discard pile, and this is the fastest way to do it. Don't be afraid to get rid of a lot of stuff in this deck just to get your Pokemon into your discard pile. Then we're going to run 3 copies of N. That's more for when you need cards and you have to recycle. You know, N is a favorite and going to be a lot stronger now. People are going to be running a lot more Ns because Verseeker is cycling out. So you're not going to be able to just rely on 1 N or 2 Ns, 2 Sycamores. You have to play a bigger, stronger line. A couple of Kukuis, again for draw support, but mainly for that added 20 damage. You never know when it comes in handy, but if you're doing 120, 150, you jump it up so that way you can knock out the Bulus. You're not going to be able to knock out in one shot Metagross or anything like that, but you can get up to 210 using Kukui in certain attacks to get the Lurantises and some of the other strong ones that are going to be coming out. Probably going to have a little trouble with Gardevoir GX. I've focused on that deck. That is still my favorite so far, new favorite deck. But 2 Kukuis, 2 Ninja Boys. That way, if you have to put something down just to get something on your bench, you can Ninja Boy into Marshadow. Typically, you're going to want to get a Lele down, Ninja Boy it into a Marshadow. Lele's back in your deck. You recycle your Lele's that way so you can continue to grab the other cards you need, the other supporters. 2 Guzmas, the new Escape Rope Lysander in one. Now that Lysander is going to cycle out, Guzma is going to be the replacement of choice. Strong card, you can run 2 of those. Skyla, 1 copy. This is to get any of the tools that you need. Usually this is going to be for items, Ultra Balls, or a stadium. And then we're running 1 copy of Acerola. I love this card in this deck. Put 1 of your Pokemon that has any damage counters on it and all the cards attached into your hand. Marshadow only has 150 hit points. That's the downfall of playing Marshadow. He's weak sauce. And so Acerola is good, 50 damage on Marshadow. Pull him back to your hand, lay him back down, get rolling. You're only running a couple Marshadows really in your bench, so you can roll them around a little bit. But 1 Acerola, I'm tempted to run more. I'm tempted to take out Skyla maybe and run Acerola, or maybe find another spot. But I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2 Acerolas would be really good in this deck. 4 Ultra Balls. Again, ideally, what you want to do is you want to in your hand, you've got Dragonite and Necrozma. You use those to Ultra Ball to get a Lele or a Marshadow out, or to get something else in your hand that then you're going to Sycamore away. That's how this deck rolls. You really want to figure out your cycle of getting things into your discard pile. Ultra Ball and Sycamore is the big way to do it. Fighting Fury Belt, only on Marshadow, 190. At least you're up to hopefully not being one-shotted so easily. And I'm running 3 of those since we're only running 3 Marshadows. 1 Choice Band, just in case. You can hit, it's that surprise, throw it down, hit for, maybe you're hitting for 210 or 230 with some of the attacks. Special Charge, 2 of them. Since we're running a lot of special energy in here, I want to have a way to get some of it back in case you have to max potion some away, or if you run up against a discard deck, energy deck, that denial deck or something. So we run 2 special charges, 2 max potions. And max potion is the one, maybe one of these goes away and becomes another Acerola. I'm not quite sure. Run 2 switches just in case you need to get back and forth again with the Guzmas. It's the same kind of thing, but I wanted to have a couple switches in there just in case, on a turn where you were going to Ninja Boy or something and you needed a switch. Stadiums, we're running 2. We're running Brooklet Hill. That way you can quickly get out your Marshadows. And then Parallel City. What I like about Parallel City for this deck is the option of which way you turn it. You have it facing you this way. You're running Marshadow, so you're not going to suffer from any of the reduced damage on this side, and you make your opponent only have 3 on their bench. Or if you're stuck and you end up putting things on your bench that you want to get rid of, do it to yourself and then discard, the Drampaw that you had to put down on your bench because you didn't have any other choice at some point. This is why I like this. Just again, another way to get things into your discard if you have to. All right, and then lastly is our energy lineup. Sorry, I'm messing everything up here. Not the cleanest spot today. Oh, Tapu Fini. I had thought about running Tapu Fini in this deck. I opted for Necrozma. I'm not quite sold again on Necrozma, but Tapu Fini might be an option, mainly for the first attack or for Tapu Storm. But For energy, we're running two strong energy. Sorry, two strong energy. Add 20 damage to your attacks. That's always nice. 4 DCEs, 2 rainbow energies. This way you can do Glaceon's attack, Jolteon's attack, and 4 basic fighting energies. So that's the deck. And again, the style that this one plays, I really like it. It's really multifunctional. To be able to, you get a bunch of things in your discard pile, and to have the option of, you know, energy drive or hyper beam or the GX or any of your opponent's attacks or rage or berserk or flash ray or crystal ray. I mean, this is just such a wonderful toolbox card that you can do anything and you can do it when you need it. And I've been playing this today online. I managed to get a trade for 3 Marshadows online, and it's been playing really well. I think it surprises people a little bit, so that maybe, you know, once they get used to Marshadow being in the game, they might be a little more apt on how to play against it. 150, there's your downfall. It's a weak GX Pokemon. So you've got to be moving quickly. You've got to play this smart. Again, like any Ninja Box, you have to, you know, pick and choose when you are using what attack and when against what, anticipating your opponent's next move. That's the fun of this. This is a very cerebral deck. So if you like playing a thinking game, this is a thinking player's deck. You really have to be careful about what you do. You have to play more cautiously, and yet you have to be aggressive because you have to get the upper hand and you have to do it quickly. And Marshadow can do that. Marshadow allows you for not a lot of energy, and the versatility that he can get from the multitude of attacks makes it a really, really solid deck to play around with. I would love to hear your comments. If you want to play against me online, Myboydash is my handle on the TCG Online, and I am more than happy to play anybody there. I will put that in the comments. If you have any comments about the deck, please leave them below. I would love to hear it. Any ideas to help tool this a little bit and make it even stronger and more fun to play, I am really interested to hear what you have to say. And tomorrow is Burning Shadows, so we're going to have a lot of fun making a lot of new decks. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please subscribe. I'm going to continue doing things like this, and hopefully some more fun stuff. Again, I'm just another Pokedad. Thank you very much for watching, and this was the Marshadow box, the Marsh box decks. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great, great time.